Welcome back to the nighttime Bible reading for beginners, where beginners come together and read the Bible to learn all about God's goodness. Hey man, I'm so excited to see y'all again. My name is Clyde James. To the ones who haven't met me before, my name is Clyde James, and I'm definitely happy to be your host where we read the Bible every day, Monday through Friday, excluding holidays, and we just learn about the goodness of God. But first and foremost, before anything, let's handle one order of business. Make sure that you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the O'Prock Day Left Day YouTube channel. And also, if you want to support so we can keep this going on consistently, go to AProckDayLeftDay.com and you can order some merch, or you can order any other products or services that we have available on the site. So what we do is we read 2 chapters a day out of the Bible, and we state like 2 things that stood out to us and 2 things that we may have questions or concerns about. And how you could participate is drop your comments down below. Drop down below the things that stood out to you. Also drop down below the things that you have questions about, or you may have the answer to my question. So definitely answer my question, or just put in your input however you want to do it. So hey, we're gonna jump straight into it. I ain't gonna hold y'all long today. And yesterday we stopped at chapter 13 in Genesis, so that's where we're gonna pick up at. All right, chapter 13. Abraham and Lot separate. So Abraham left Egypt and traveled north into the Negev, along with his wife and Lot and all that they owned. Abram was very rich in livestock, silver, and gold. From the Negev, they continued traveling by stages toward Bethel, and they pitched their tents between Bethel and Ai, where they had camped before. This was the same place where Abram had built the altar, and there he worshiped the Lord again. Lot, who was traveling with Abram, had also become very wealthy with flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, and many tents. But the land could not support both Abram and Lot with all their flocks and herds living so close together. So disputes broke out between the herdsmen of Abram and Lot. At the time, the Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land. Finally, Abram said to Lot, "Let's not allow this conflict to come between us or our herdsmen. After all, we are close relatives. The whole countryside is open to you. Take your choice of any section of the land you want, and we will separate. If you want the land to the left, then I'll take the land on the right. If you prefer the land on the right, then I'll go to the left." Lot took a long look at the fertile plains of the Jordan Valley in the direction of Zoar. The whole area was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, or the beautiful land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot chose for himself the whole Jordan Valley to the east of them. He went there with his flocks and servants and parted company with his uncle Abram. So Abram settled in the land of Canaan, and Lot moved his tents to a place near Sodom and settled among the cities of the plain. But the people of the area were extremely wicked and constantly sinned against the Lord. After Lot had gone, the Lord said to Abram, "Look as far as you can see in every direction, north, south, east, and west. I am giving all this land as far as you can see to you and your descendants as a permanent possession. And I will give you so many descendants that, like the dust of the earth, they cannot be counted. Go and walk through the land in every direction, for I am giving it to you." So Abram moved his camp to Hebron and settled near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. There he built another altar to the Lord. Abram rescues Lot. About this time, war broke out in the region. King Amraphel of Babylonia, King Arok of Elasar, King Kedorlaomer of Elam, and King Tidal of Goim fought against King Bera of Sodom, King Bersha of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Atma, King Shemeber of Zeboam, and King of Bela, also called Zoar. This second group of kings joined forces in Siddim Valley, that is the valley of the Dead Sea. For the 12 years they had been subject to the king Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled against him. 1 year later, Kedorlaomer and his allies arrived and defeated the Rephites at the Astor Karnal, the Zeusites at Ham, the Emites at Shavev Kirim, and the Horites at Mount Seir, as far as El Paran at the edge of the wilderness. They turned back and came to En Mishpat, now called Kadesh, and conquered all the territory of the Amalekites and also the Amorites living in Hazazon Tamar. Then the rebel kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboam, and Bela, also called Zor, prepared for battle in the valley of the Dead Sea. They fought against King Kedorlaomer and of Elam, King Tidal of Goam, King Amraphel of Babylonia, and King Arak of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. As it happened, the valley of the Dead Sea was filled with tar pits, and as the army of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into the tar pits, while the rest escaped into the mountains. The victorious invaders then plundered Sodom and Gomorrah and headed for home, taking with them all the spoils of war and the food supplies. They also captured Lot, Abraham's nephew, who lived in Sodom, and carried off everything he owned. But one of Lot's men escaped and reported everything to Abram, the Hebrew, who was living near the oak grove belonging to Mamre, the Amorite. Mamre and his relatives Eshcol and Anir were Abram's allies. When Abram heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he mobilized the 318 trained men who had been born into his household. Then he pursued Kedorlaomer's army until he caught up with them at Dan. There he divided his men and attacked during the night. Kedorlaomer's army fled, but Abram chased them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. Abram recovered all the goods that had been taken, and he brought back his nephew Lot with his possessions and all the women and other captives. Melchizedek blesses Abram. After Abram returned from his victory over Kedorlaomer and all his allies, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shavev, that is, the king's valley. And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and a priest of God Most High, brought Abram some bread and wine. Melchizedek blessed Abram with this blessing. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has defeated your enemies for you. Then Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of all the goods he had recovered. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give back my people who were captured, but you may keep for yourself all the goods you have recovered." Abram replied to the king of Sodom, "I solemnly swear to the Lord God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take so much as a single thread or sandal thong from that belongs to you. Otherwise, you might say, I am the one who made Abram rich. I will accept only what my young warriors have already eaten, and I request that you give a fair share of the goods to my allies, Anir, Eshcol, and Mamre." I like that. All right, y'all. So, hey, we just finished our 2 chapters. We read chapter 13 and chapter 14 of Genesis. And the 2 things that stood out to me, like always, man, it's always so many great stories and it's always so much that we can learn from reading this great book, the greatest book ever written. But the things that stood out to me was where when the Lord told Abram, look as far as you can in every direction, north, south, east, and west. I am giving you all this land as far as you can see, to you and your descendants as a permanent possession. Man, that's major. So basically, however much he could see was his. And man, that's a blessing, man. God definitely blessed him. So that stood out to me. Also, what stood out to me was when Abram told him, Abram had replied to the king Sodom. He said, I solemnly swear to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take so much as a single thread or sandal thong from that belongs to you. Otherwise, you might say, I am the one who made Abram rich. I will accept only what my young warriors have already eaten, and I request that you give a fair share of the good to my allies. So basically, he was like, man, I don't want nothing from you because I don't want you to take the credit to say, hey, you the one who made Abram rich. Like, nah, God blessed me. I solemnly swear to God, like, the Lord gave me all this. So that definitely stood out to me because it's like, man, he like, nah. I mean, I appreciate it, but thank you, but no thank you. So, you know, you can keep your stuff because God had already blessed me. Now, the two things that I had questions about is, like, how was Lot taken? Because I mean, I don't know how to ask the question, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, how was Lot taken? Because Lot and Abram was both well off before they split up. They both had so much livestock that they couldn't stay in one spot. So I just wonder how Abram was able to prosper so much, but Lot, he was taken and captured in that type of way. So that's one of my questions. My other question will probably be, how was Abram able to be so prosperous? Like, what made God favor him so much? Like, what characteristics did Abram have that made God say, hey, I'm going to do all this for you? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a blessing, man, to be highly favored like that, to where God just say, hey, man, I'm doing all this for you. And basically, Abram went there with his household and fought against an army with his household. he ain't go get no, like people was happy to be allies with him because he was so powerful. Like, he got all these assets. I believe it said he had like 318 trained men who had been born into his household. So 318 men born in your household, man, he already got an army. He don't need nothing. Like, everything he had was already in his household, on his land, everything. Like, he already had everything that you could ask for. So that's why I was like, man, what made God bless him so much? You know what I'm saying? What did he consist of, or what made God be so favorable of him? Because that's a blessing, man. And I would want to try to develop some of those characteristics. I like to learn, so I want to learn like what made him so favorable to God, so I could try to make myself more favorable to him too. So, hey, man, I'm glad we was able to link up again, man, like we always do. And you know I'm going to be back tomorrow night as well. We link up every night at 10 p.m., Monday through Friday, excluding holidays, man. And again, this is nighttime Bible reading for beginners, where beginners come together and read the Bible to learn about the goodness of God. Until next time, a prop day left day. Genuine love to you all.